All right. Well, my Zoom just had a seizure, literally. Like after I figure out my SSI stuff, I'm buying a MacBook. I don't even care. I'm just like so done with it. But then it's like, well, I just kind of bought a car that I can't afford. So yeah. Uh Unfortunately, I think that I need to become an adult now. Like for real. I gotta like file taxes. I don't have to pay taxes. Sorry, I don't make that much. Um So, okay, we have to pay like local taxes or something, but that comes out of my paycheck automatically. So, you know, and it's like 1 hour a week. I need to up it. I need to like work for real because again, car super expensive. Speaking of car, this will be the driving journals part 4, and this will be the last segment since I chose to like just briefly summarize my training, not go in depth like every day, which I was going to do. But then, I figured I was so mentally tired that it wouldn't be really entertaining or something like that. And I also want to get guests on here. Like I could reach out to my buddy who actually, I would consider him a buddy because he spent like 60 hours with me in a car. So I'm thinking about this right now as I'm talking to you. Um, I might reach out to him and be like, "Hey, you want to talk about, the driving stuff? So my viewers get to know like how I did it or what the process is like from somebody who has been doing this a while as opposed to me who has about, 4 years experience dealing with, the state and getting this process even started. Like it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But, it's like I say this stuff, but that doesn't mean it's not necessary. Like, I think it's dumb, but I understand why it would be the way it is. From an economic standpoint, there's not a big market for disabled people wanting to drive, I would say. It's not a huge market. Let's be honest. It's not. So from an economic standpoint, everybody has to get paid somewhere, right? And if it's a smaller market, they can up the prices and you know, make it really hard to do this without, any assistance from the state or whatever you want to do. Like privately, you could do this. You could do this all privately. You just pay for the lessons yourself, the car yourself. You have to need like probably $200,000 just to be safe. It's probably a little give there, but 200 grand. That's what I'm gonna say. Cause like the car might be 60, and then the modifications might be even more than that because it's quote high tech, you know stuff. Like they have to do all the work. Like somebody's got to get paid somewhere. It's not like I'm just getting free driver's lessons and stuff like that. Somebody's paying somebody, right? And in this case it'd be the state paying the driving school, which is called Branch Driving School. It's in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Look it up if you're around this area. They go to Maryland, New Jersey, like all over the place. And I think there's someone out in Arizona that does it. Like I'm not an expert on it, so that's why I would bring a guest on, see what they have to say about that. I mean, it might be interesting to see if they were willing to you know come on the show and just talk about in general like this process and how important it is to them that this gets done because it's not a big like it's a huge deal for me and others like me to be able to drive and be as independent as possible. Like so initially when I got my license, congrats to me, first try, parallel park like a pro. Okay, I'm kind of being cocky here, but that's what you're gonna do. You're biased towards yourself, which is fine. Like but I was like, after 4 years of waiting for this, I am not messing this up. Like I was not going to fail at all. You could throw a brick in my head. I would dodge that. Like I would not fail this test. Like regardless of how terrible of a student I am and on paper. But so It was very important to me that I get this done when I did. I wasn't not staying out there as any longer. It was like just not good in terms of like mental health stuff, which wasn't good. And it sounds weird because I was doing something majorly huge. Um, but yeah, it wasn't it was just so mentally exhausting that it was hard to control my emotions because I was so tired that I could not, like, I didn't have the strength to stop myself from acting how I was. So that was kind of freaky, I guess. But now I'm like really trying to like turn that around. I don't think I can go back to that. Like, no way. Having the license, seeing the car yesterday. So, I drove to Harrisburg myself. First thing I did when I got my license was drive back from the test. The next thing I did was drive all the way to Harrisburg, which is like 2 hours. Yeah, that was a long drive. But, having learned up where I did in Johnstown, like it's mountains, um, really narrow roads, really windy roads, really like steep roads. Um, Not too much traffic, fortunately. So I'm gonna have to get used to that here where I live. There's more traffic, I would say. Uh, but having driven where I did, I'm confident that I can drive literally anywhere except maybe 95 where I like around Philadelphia or DC because that's a lot of traffic. Or even like Newark, like the Christiana Mall area in Delaware. Yeah, lots of cars. So gonna have to get used to that. But I did end up getting the car that I wanted. The Traverse was actually one of the better options anyway. I looked at a minivan and the Traverse, which is again what I wanted. So I was already biased towards the Traverse, but I was willing to like humor them and just look at the other car. And fortunately, I didn't actually like that one anyway. Like the the Pacifica, how I was sitting in that thing, my head was almost like in the visor. Like if I wanted to, I couldn't pull the visor down; it would hit me in the head. So, but in the Traverse, there's also a sunroof, so that's nice. Windows down, sunroof open. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a fun summer, and I'm gonna go broke because gas prices. But that's another story. Hopefully I get another job and can actually get there and they pay me $15 an hour. Hopefully, we'll see what happens because I'm gonna need it. Buying a car I can't afford, you know, pretty much. I mean, I'm not doing it totally alone. Like that's kind of ridiculous. Like, all right, here you go. You're 20 years old. You don't have like a full-time job. Figure it out. Like that would have been impossible, right? Like, because we're still on the hook for buying the car. Then the state said that they would pay for the lessons and the joystick that I'm going to be using. So how it works is exactly like my wheelchair. So for anyone who is wondering, like for anyone in the Duchenne community or in general, was wondering how the heck this car works. Right. So picture like an iPhone to your left with like the gears, the ignition, all that stuff is on there. And the AC, things like that. Mirrors you can adjust via that tablet thingy. It's called the touchpad. So on also on the left, like on the back of the touchpad itself, is a button that has an audio list. So it'll read through options. It'll go left, which is left turn signal, right, which is right turn signal, horn. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Front wash, which washes the windshield, rear wash, rear wipe, front wipe, intermittent wipe, which is like the center speed, I guess. Um, Headlights, flasher, like all that stuff is on there. So I basically hit the button, wait for it to say what I want, and let go. And it's pretty simple to do turn signals and things like that, which are most the primary function of that button for me. Because I mean, mostly you just need to hit your turn signals, and if it rains, turn your wipers on. Um, so pretty straightforward on the left. My left does nothing in terms of actually how the car drives. So then you have, a joystick similar to the one that I use to drive and most other people in a power chair would use, right? So it's same deal. If the drive forward goes vroom, like if you push the stick forward, it'll accelerate. To turn, you have to keep pushing the stick forward to go, to drive forward and turn at the same time, kind of like the chair. Obviously, the chair, turns differently, but not going forward. Going backwards, it does. So if you can drive a wheelchair, you can drive a car for sure. The only thing is going in reverse is a little tricky just because you have to be very, very slightly moving the stick or it'll go crazy. So, only somebody who knows how to drive a power chair precisely, could, easily translate to drive this. I mean, any normal person, I feel, could drive this with enough training. I already had a lot of the training done, 6 years being in a wheelchair, it already prepared me to get in the car and drive it. Like it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. It was just the pressure of don't hit anything, which, obviously if you're in a wheelchair, you have slightly more, observation skills. Like you're going to be looking all over the place, making sure you're not hitting anything. Because you wouldn't want to be running over people's feet in your wheelchair, or at least me. I try my best not to hit anybody. I rarely accidentally hit anybody unless they walk into me. So what I'm getting at there is I know where I am in space, so I don't really have to worry about it as much. It's all about the slight movement of the wheel, but instead of me moving my arms on the wheel, I'm moving my right hand and the wheel is turning. So the cool thing about the van or the conversion that I'm getting, I'm not getting a van because I'm a 20-year-old man and I don't want a mom car. No offense, moms. Respect for the van, for the minivan, for the mom car. But yeah, nah, not for me. Nope. It's a car I'm going to have for 10 years. So yeah, let's assume that I'm not going to have kids yet. So, I got my car for me. Like, it doesn't matter who's in the passenger seat. It's got 3 seats in the back still. So, I'm going to have fun with this car. After seeing the car, it really hit how exciting this is going to be. Like, I'm so excited. If I get this car like by June and my friends here in like August, oh yeah. Like I'm gonna have to drive. Well, I'm not gonna have to, but like if all goes well, I can drive down to the Outer Banks in July. That might be interesting. That's a 6-hour drive. So I might switch off, might do 4 hours, and then somebody does the last two because I'm really used to like 4 or 5 hours at a time, or not even at a time necessarily, but I did 2.5 hours, took a break, then did 2.5 hours again for 5 days a week, for 2 weeks straight, not including the last 3 days because that's not a full week. Like it's 2.5 weeks for sure. So it's not, it's like a crash course without the crashing. That's what I keep saying. Like, being funny, like obviously you don't want to crash, but it's a lot. And, we went on the highway, we went on these crazy back roads, we went up a hill, we went down a hill, we went right onto like a super steep hill, we went left onto a super steep hill. I went up a hill, I already said that, over some bridges, through a tunnel, a couple tunnels. Yeah, so it's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. Like, it's not for somebody who's just like, maybe I can drive. It's for somebody who's like, I'm doing this. Okay. Like, you can't go in with that iffy attitude. You really can't. Because I feel like if you go in and you don't want it enough, you're gonna, it's just, it gets to you, right? Like, I've wanted this since I was 16 years old. Like, I was not gonna go up there and not get my license and pass on the first try. I wasn't, and hopefully, once this starts to happen, like I get the feeling that I'm an adult and I need to be doing adult things instead of just sitting on my butt doing nothing. Hopefully I'll, you know, spend more time with this, get a little bit bigger, get guests at, I don't know, travel to guests and record from there. You never know. So yeah, honestly, I think it'll be okay. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but think about it this way. I'm getting the car that I wanted, you know, hopefully by summer when it's the nicest time to drive, when it's warm, you can have the windows open, night driving, late at night. We'll see. I mean, no, definitely not doing that. But to get used to driving at night, I should probably drive at night. I did that out there, but I haven't done it here where there's no street lights at all. There's nothing. Like even in the mountains, there are street lights because it's just weird. Like, so I'm gonna have to get used to the roads here, which are a lot easier. Let's be real. Like they're flat. There's no major mountains that I have to drive up. Like when I tell you I drove up a mountain, like people from around here probably haven't had to, literally climb mountains to get their driver's license. But yeah, I figuratively and literally climbed mountains to get my driver's license. And I didn't do it alone. I owe a lot to my mom, and I don't give her enough credit. And she's like, needs or deserves like gratitude and stuff. And I don't show it at all because I'm just overwhelmed and stuff like that. And I'm trying to get out of that headspace, and I have a ways to go. But I just want her to know that I'm trying, and like even if I don't seem like I'm trying, I want to try and I want to be better. And yeah. So honestly, me and my mom could literally conquer the world. We could totally. I mean, and I don't think that I'm not like unaware of that fact, but I sometimes forget like, how we have been able to, do anything, regardless of circumstances. And a lot of times it gets hard and it gets depressing, and I'm stuck in that rut right now. So I need to get out of that. Obviously, stop being a little, I mean, I'm great. So great. Now I need to be better. And that's something that I've lost sight of. And now, doing this podcast right now, I have it in my sights again. And I have to be better. I have to stop being so damn lazy, darn it. Like, and I got to be more consistent with this. I got to advertise this a lot more. I got to, be on social media. I got to be getting guests. It's not easy. So maybe that's why I'm like, like I like producing the content. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the constant advertising that you need to do. You need to spend the money, and I don't have that much money, that I want to be spending right now because of the car. Like, but once I get the car, I think it'll be good. I'll be able to get to work on my own to an extent, and things like that. So yeah, I think it's gonna unlock a lot of things. It's gonna allow me to get to school and actually socialize with people. Yeah, people remember those. Like I don't. What are people? Like literally, my friends came over and I hadn't seen him in like literally 3 months. Some of them I hadn't seen in like literally a year. So like 6 months. I think the last time my friend Alex was here was 3 months ago, like December-ish. Actually that would be 4 months ago now, but he was here like last week. Last weekend he was here. That was fun. And then I saw my friend that I hadn't seen in 6 months. Like it just felt off, which is weird. Like I'm a pretty social guy, and it wasn't off like so bad and it was awkward. No, it wasn't weird. It was like, it's just like I've been by myself for a really long time. So I kind of guess I got not used to, like, I don't know. Like it's not like I'm like acting weird or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just it fell off, like out of the ordinary, because ordinarily I wake up, do some stuff, and then I really don't do much. So that's why in my head, I'm like, I gotta be better. This is ridiculous. I gotta be an adult. Dang it. Like, I'm gonna be 21 in like, okay, 9 months, but like 8 months. Cause it's, well, okay, 8 months next month. Like, I'm gonna be 21. Like, I need to like start, like, I guess accepting the responsibility that a 20-year-old has. I gotta focus up, like doing adult things, getting my driver's license, like, man, moving up in the world, guys. So follow my footsteps. I know you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Just keep your head up, keep on keeping on. You need to go after what you want. Okay. Take risks. If people are telling you no, don't listen to them. Tune them out. If they're telling you no, you need to believe. Okay. Ignore all the haters. Okay. If you believe something is possible and you can do it, it'll happen. Right. But if you're like, that's not possible. That's not possible. I can't do that. That's impossible. It's not, but it is if you think it is. Like, if you believe in your heart that it's impossible, okay, or in your brain, whatever, wherever you think you believe at, if you believe it's impossible, then you've already made up your mind and it is impossible. Okay. That's where the mindset comes in. If you're, like, I get mad at people sometimes, not for anything they did in particular, but like, I'll get mad at like people being, I don't know, they're just like not I forget what I was talking about. I totally got off topic there. That would be my undiagnosed ADHD kicking in. Yeah, I kind of just totally like my train of thought derailed. Talking about mindset. Let's go back to that. Like, yeah, mindset, very important. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you believe you can't do it, can't do it. It's pretty straightforward. It's literally that easy to understand. Like, go to the gym. If you physically can lift it, it doesn't matter. You need to be able to physically lift it, and you need to also believe that you can lift it. Because if you can't, then you can't. It's amazing how it works. Like, it's amazing once you start realizing the like what your brain is capable of. It's law of attraction type stuff. If you're attracting it's impossible, guess what? Or rather, if you're saying it's impossible, you're attracting it's impossible, right? So if you're like anything's possible, you're attracting that energy back at you. So stands to reason that the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So if it's like negative energy, you're going to receive negative energy and not get the things that you truly want, right? And you need to believe that these things are happening, even if it's like not happening, right? So like people get discouraged with faith because it takes a lot of patience, and patience is something that I've developed over time. Like, having faith that things are going to work out for you in a certain way is freeing, really, because then you know that anything that happens, regardless, you're still on that path that you believe that you will, get there. You believe that, you'll be super rich and like whatever. Like, if you believe it, you still have to work for it though. That's the thing. Like, people just like go, oh, okay, I have faith. Now what? Like, faith, hard work, all leads to the same place, regardless of the decisions you make. So like, I'm somebody that believes you have free will for sure. From a religious standpoint, I believe in God. So I don't care what you believe. I mean, I care, but like, my point with that one is like, I'm not trying to force anybody to think anyway, but they know that, because if you're listening to my other episodes, you would know that I'm a free thinker and I promote free thinking and I want you guys to think. So yeah, I believe in God, right? I believe that I have a predestined like outcome, let's say, or like there's some purpose, right? There's some higher purpose outcome, purpose, same kind of thought there. But I believe that I have free will, so I can make my own decisions. But regardless of any decision that I make, it leads to the same place. If you have belief and faith and, patience, and you're willing to put in the work, right? So it's not just freebie. Like, it's not like, God, can I have a girlfriend? And then poof, it doesn't work like that, obviously. It's like, God, thanks for my girlfriend that doesn't exist yet. Like, that's that kind of thing. Like, you know that it's coming eventually, but it's not the time. Like, just not. All the cards are like, nope, not time yet. It's not time. So, let me like start my life first, and then we'll get on the, combining my life with somebody else's life. Let's do me first, and then we'll get to that. And that's something that is like a lot of dudes are doing that now. We're like, all right, we're done, over it. But that's not to say that I'm not available. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, I'll stay single until like it's time. I just don't think it's time right now. I mean, let's be real. I'm still gonna talk to people of the opposites of the direct opposite gender. I don't know if there's 76 of them, but maybe there are. I just not a biologist. Sorry, that was too easy. I had to do that joke. All right, well, yeah. So go after what you want. Have a firm belief. Be thankful for what you do have in the moment, right? It might not all be fun and games right now, but eventually, there's a light at the end of the tunnel that you get to, and boom, your life is on the other side of it. So yeah, keep the faith, keep on keeping on. Stay strong. I mean, it's gonna suck some days, like really bad, but you can get through it. If I can get through it, you can get through it, right? Let's do this together. I'm trying to, pave the way. I'll figure it out first, and then I'll get back to you and help you guys out. But obviously, again, I don't have it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out, literally ever. Not gonna lie, like nobody. Like, it's all fake. Like, we're all just like faking it, and some of us are successful, and others just aren't. So if you're somebody that's successfully faking it, good for you, because I am trying to get there myself. So that's going to do it for this episode. Nobody has it all figured out. So if you think you do, you probably don't. But again, nothing against you personally. Just telling you there are things that you don't know. So I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, like, subscribe, share if you want. I won't be upset if you don't. But yeah, check me out on YouTube, at the Life and Lessons of Me on YouTube. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.